Hi friends, this is Dr. Jennifer, and I'm just popping on to share some information with you about your thyroid. So I definitely get a lot of questions about thyroid function, and it's something that I see a lot of in my practice. There's a few things to take into consideration with your thyroid. First of all, it always begins with testing. So I am definitely of the vein that you want to test and not guess. We don't want to use the throwing darts and hope it sticks approach. So making sure that you actually investigate your thyroid well is going to be the first part of the process. With the thyroid, there's a variety of numbers that you can get. And so I will usually recommend, if I'm suspicious of the thyroid, getting a full panel. And the reason why I recommend a full panel is because a full panel is just going to really give us the biggest picture of how your thyroid is functioning and kind of tell us the whole story. The first value that most people usually get when looking at the thyroid is something called TSH. TSH stands for thyroid stimulating hormone, and that is essentially the communication between your brain and your thyroid. That tells us the first part of the story. Then the next part of the story is going to be, what is your thyroid doing? How is it producing hormone after that communication? Is that hormone being produced properly and effectively? And then the next part of the equation is, how is that hormone being converted? Because you have inactive thyroid and then you have active thyroid. So I want to see the whole story, everything that's going on with your thyroid. And then to make matters more complicated, there's something called reverse T3, which can basically make active thyroid hormone inactive if you have too much. So that's another number to look at. And then the last is thyroid antibodies. Thyroid antibodies are going to be present if there's more of an autoimmune condition going on, something called Hashimoto's that you may have heard of. And autoimmune condition that's driving a thyroid dysfunction is going to be a bit different than just like a low functioning thyroid. So part of the approach and the strategy will be a little bit different in the way that you're addressing that. And then the last thing that I'm going to add here that I see clinically is that the adrenals are very much tied to thyroid function. And I'll actually put a diagram in the comment section below so you can see how that whole axis works together. But it's called your HPAT axis. H stands for hypothalamus, P stands for pituitary, A stands for adrenal, and T stands for thyroid. So it all works together on the communicates together on the same axis, and one can influence the other. And I definitely see thyroid conditions that are driven by adrenal conditions, which is typically a dysregulated stress response. And in today's world, you probably don't find that surprising. But stress can be emotional. It can be, like a sugar dysregulation. It can be inflammation. It could be an autoimmune condition going on. So stress is just anything that the body perceives as stress. It doesn't necessarily only have to be an emotional or mental experience. But I hope that that was helpful for you. That can maybe help you get started on assessing what's going on with your thyroid if you're suspicious there's a problem there, or digging in further and getting more information if you know you already have a problem. If I can be of any other help, don't hesitate to reach out. This is Dr. Jennifer wishing you happy, healthy thyroid hormones.